and Gregory Sloan from Mallee District Aboriginal Service, and they're going to present on the service's Koorie Adolescent Family Violence Program. And they have travelled a long way to be here today, longer than Morwell, so please make them welcome. Thank you.
And we are the ACO everybody's been talking about this morning. So we're Mallee District Aboriginal Services. Or should I introduce myself? I'm Deb Berg. I'm the Manager of Family Violence at MDAS. And
I'm Greg Sloan. I'm the Coordinator of Perpetrators Program and Men's Case Management and Adolescent Program.
So Mallee District Aboriginal Services is an ACO, which is an Aboriginal Community Controlled Organisation. It was established 30 years ago. Oh, I meant to flick, aren't I? Sorry. And we're made up of employees of both Indigenous and non-Indigenous workers. And there's about 250 employees at MDAS, so we're quite a big service. But we provide 50 different services to community within the Mallee. The Mallee is Mildura, Robinvale, Swan Hill and Koorie. So we've got quite a big service, or quite a big area too. And it consists of 3 departments, which is corporate, family services and health services. And our family violence department is under the family services department. So, just need to go to the next one. So, now our wraparound service, which is we've got the 3 services, the corporate, family services and health service, and we utilise all those services, or a lot of those services within our family violence service. So we're very, very fortunate where we work and with our organisation that with our Adolescent Family Violence Program, we'll use social and emotional wellbeing, alcohol and drug, and mental health and housing and youth services. So we use the whole wraparound service as well as the family violence services. And there's the health service as well. So everybody has a health check as well. With our family violence services, I'll just backtrack a bit, sorry. It's the Adolescent Family Violence Program, and then we have perpetrator programs, and we have the perpetrator case management program, we have the men's case management program, and we have a cultural healing men's behaviour change program. So which Rocky's the coordinator of all those. And then we have Memina Nangimi, which is the Women's and Children's Refuge for victims and survivors of family violence. And within that refuge, we've had the refuge for 7 years, so within the refuge we have an outreach service which supports victim survivors within Mildura, Robinvale, Swan Hill and Koorie. Our adolescent program is the only one that we only have clients from Mildura and Robinvale, because we only have one worker and we have a support worker from other family violence services, but we don't actually have the capacity to do 200 hours with a client in those towns that are too far away. So now, do you want to...
No, you can.
So, about the family violence program. It will aim to reduce family violence. Our clients are case managed. We started off with a vision to do group work, but we haven't quite got there yet with the family. We can do group work with clients, but we can't do group work with families at the moment. Most of our clients actually come from kinship care or out-of-home care. There's only one client that is actually with their family, in the 12 months we've been doing the program. So, yeah, so it's sort of, Rocky will talk more about that, but so you've sort of got the breakdown of the family and to start with, so it's more about doing the group work. And all the young people within the program have been through some kind of family violence service at MDAS anyway. So they were either in the refuge, or their father's been through Rocky's programs or something. And sometimes we will have and like the child will be in out-of-home care or kinship care, and we'll have his actual biological mother in Memina, and we'll have dad in a program of Rockies, and then we've got the child in the adolescent program. So that's the wraparound too. And all the, like it's targeted the same as what everybody else has said, from 12 to 17, and most of our clients are 13 to 15. So we have had a 12-year-old from the refuge, and he actually ended up being sent to Queensland to his grandfather. So it's really, it's just really difficult because every client is so different. Like, there's none of our clients are the same. They're all so different, and when I say different, they're off the spectrum different. Like, our referral sources. There's a whole big list here, but we basically get them from the Orange Door. So we have an Orange Door in the Mallee, which is opposite our facility, so quite close. And then from our other services, so like from Memina and from our perpetrator programs, from MDAS itself, so through our early years, like we have early years from the health service, from youth services. We've actually had a couple through Resi. We've got one coming in now that, like, you have to really do a proper assessment and work out, do we have the capacity to case manage and work with this person, because they're already in Resi Care, which is MDAS Resi Care. So we probably wouldn't do 200 hours with that client, but we're meant to do 200 hours, so yeah. And what makes us different?
What makes us different is we are an Aboriginal hub, and all our referrals we make out goes to the hub itself, so like drug and alcohol, mental health, youth, all in one place. So the young person has to explain himself over and over and over all the time. And because we are a cultural part of it as well, the guys come in, they do a 7-week program, culture program. That's where we take them on land and learn about culture. Start from day one, take their shoes off, put their feet in the dirt, get that raw earthy feeling. And then next week we do, painting on a club sticks or something like that, their journey from now to then. And at the end of the 7 weeks program, their way of initiation is to talk about their journey on the club sticks. So that's how we do our culture with the guys. Got a female as well. She works with the young women and the mum and takes them out, learn about all that stuff with the women do, or women's business, and like basket making and all the weaving and all that stuff. So, and again, they come back for their passage to be a lady. They will talk about their journey as well.
Now we've got no case. Our female is actually a case manager from Memina. We're only funded for one position. Should I try and hit another one? I think I've got the case study on. Yeah. So this is the background of the parents of one of our young people. So.
And also, you know what I mean, like with the culture program, about 4 weeks into it, they would take the parents with them and talk about their journey, why they upset, why they angry all the time, so the dad can and the mum can relate to it and bring that bond together as well. And especially like Deb said, we work with the perpetrators, which is the males in our group. We do it differently to mainstream. Like we do activities, especially like learning the neurons in the young kid's brain when you talk to them and all that stuff. And we do go out and do cultures as well, and that's where We get a lot of stuff opening up from men and perpetrators.
We don't actually work in an office, so we work out on country. We really don't work in their houses or anything either. Like, you might go and pick them up and take them, but yeah. And like, transport's a problem too, but we transport our kids everywhere. And we utilise our family violence team to help with things like that, yeah. So we're really lucky in that space. So, but this is actually a case study, and this is one of our clients' parents and their background, and it's very similar to every client. So, and that's what we work with. So did you want me to read it, or is it? You can't say. Okay. So, now, family background. Father and mother met each other at high school. However, neither completed year 12. During their high school relationship, they were constantly on and off. So, after high school, during their late teens, they again met at an alcohol and drug-related party. They again got together, and after several months, mother became pregnant. As a result of mother falling pregnant, they both decided to move in together and lived in mother's flat. We've called them mother and father because we actually had names for them. We've de-identified, so you got mother, father and young person. So it sounds a bit weird. So, throughout mother's pregnancy, there was a lot of alcohol and drugs taken by both mother and father. During this period, mother was exposed to physical and emotional abuse from father. After many months of the abuse and many phone calls to police, mother finally followed through with an intervention order, and DHHS became involved also, and father left the family home. After 38 weeks, mother gave birth to young person. After a week in hospital, mother and young person returned home. Mother remained a drug user and was constantly in contact with father, and as a result, young person spent most of the first 3 years in care of the maternal grandmother. And then it just goes on, because everybody will get the spreadsheet, right, the slides. Just about how the mental health problems, of course, with the continual drug use, mental health problems from mother. She ended up on a disability pension. And even though she's the primary carer of the children were raised by Nan, and Pop. And Dad.
And you get that in the Koorie community. The grandmothers and grandfathers look after the young kids. It's the norm.
And then the children start, that's where the violence starts in adolescent. It's against Nan, like also against Nan and only carer. So, and like the crimes, like young girls become prostitutes for mum's drug habit and all that sort of thing. Whereas adolescents are stealing to support their own alcohol and drug habits. So they're the adolescents we've been working with. So, and our biggest problem is trying to work out who to work with, because some of the adolescents we work with are really intensive, I suppose. Like, we had one guy who the worker was just supporting him 100%, like he got him into TAFE and everything like that, but he was going to TAFE with him. So so we're basically babysitting, we're not actually making them independent. So we've sort of got to, and with Megan's help, look for the happy place where, who do we work with? Because we have 8 targets a year. And like, I've been going through and realising that we have said no to a lot of referrals because they're not appropriate or whatever. So, but it's trying to get that assessment, and when we do the assessment, why are we not going to work with this person? Or yes, we are. So just working all that out. So that's the conclusion. So, but basically our program is more about, we do the assessment, we actually have a therapeutic team starting, so that will also that will do a lot of cultural healing, and that will go out on country. The people who run that will take the person out on country, and that will be another lens to the adolescent family violence program. But basically we do the assessment, and then Rocky and Nathan and that just go out on country and work with the guy. So, and like the girls go to a webinar or whatever to work. So, but we don't class them as perpetrators either. They're just young people because they've been victims. So.
And with that as well, when we do our culture day, some of the young people don't have mum and dads. So we got a respected elder to come in, be a mentor for them as well, to guide them in that and have something to say. And we do train up the respected elder to identify when there's talking about issues and all that, so it can alert us as well.
And when you talk about your group work, like you talk about your circle, we do the yarning circle. So, and we sit around a yarning circle and just chat, or yarn. So yeah, but and then
do you find that a lot of the young people that you're working with have that connection with country before they become involved with you? Like, have they lost that connection?
Yeah, they lost that connection. Even when we do our men's group as well, the perpetrators, some of them has lost their culture, connection, everything. So we take them back again, day one, put their feet in the ground and just work it from there, go right through everything. And the good thing about it is, after the 7 weeks, when we get another couple of young guys come through the program, they be able to be mentors for them, doing the culture stuff as well, going through and all that stuff. So it's a round circle, and it makes them feel better as well.
that is something we're trying to do, is build up mentors, because you give somebody, I don't know, pride in themselves and respect, and yeah, they're a mentor, that will totally change the whole lot of the behaviours. So yeah, so, and we're just about to get a hub, so we're hoping we can, which is it'll be for men's case management, but it also has a facility with a barbecue, a yarning circle and a fire pit, so that will enable us to be closer to town and to be able to do some of our group work and even just individual work on an appropriate facility. So
that sounds so great. We would like to come visit.
we would love to come visit you too, because our programs are very...
I know, that whole,
Yeah.
I've got to be honest, I love the idea of the grounding in the earth.
Yes.
And because we are such a small community area, we quite often have a lot of the Koorie kids come through our program as well, just by choice. So I'm very mindful, but I also talk to them a lot about the fact we have so much to learn from the communities and community and family and how that works. So I love it because it adds an extra dimension. So just putting your feet in the earth really talks to me. So I'd really love to come visit you.
That would be really good actually, because we struggle trying to tell people what we do because it's just a natural thing. And trying to write it's even harder. So what do you do? Okay, we do this, but then, so, and everyone's different. Like it'll be, depend on who the person is, or, like most people are victim survivors. I guess that's the lens that we take on, and like, it's learning culture, it's healing, and and how the guys do it is how they do it. I don't really know. So it's an individual thing. Yeah,
It's a journey.
It is.
It's a journey. Yeah.
It is. And we do, you know what I mean, like take one person at a time doing it so he can grab it and run with it. And because there's a lot of work, taking cool elements off tree, traditional way, showing them that, shields, getting bark, doing bark painting as well, and showing them how to, when you get a bark off a tree, to flatten it out, make it straight, and all that stuff. Canoes as well, show them how to do that, and again hunting. what fruit you eat, how to read tracks. So there's a lot to it.
Mm.
Yeah.
And that's just so empowering. Like you could
Yeah.
imagine a young person just, yeah. And it's not done all in one session, it goes over weeks. So, yeah.
I have a question. I mean, part of this coming together is about having evidence-based services that fit the needs of clients, but also having an Aboriginal-led
Yes.
approach. And I'm a researcher evaluating evidence-based programs, and what I see is a massive gap
Yes.
between the Aboriginal-led approach
Yes.
and the evidence-based approach. So what I'm seeing is the evidence-based approach aren't culturally competent. They're not taking culture into account,
Yeah.
but actually Aboriginal people are going into this program.
Yeah.
So how do we address that gap and have some cultural competence there? But also, I know I'm from New South Wales as well, and there's a division in New South Wales within the Aboriginal community that says we are not going to have anything to do with evidence-based programs. They're whitewashed programs and they don't meet our needs. But there are some saying, well, actually, we're not going to be able to meet all the needs. So some of our clients are so complex, they're going to need really specialised people that you may not have in community. So how do you, like that's, it's just...
No matter what, we still have evidence-based practice. Like, it might be individualised and all that, but we have evidence of what we do. And then we have evaluations, so it can be, yeah,
Yeah, it's just got to word it.
it's the way it's worded.
Yeah.
And just the paranoia, I suppose, around it.
Yeah.
But we work in New South Wales actually because we're right on the border. So a lot of our clients come from New South Wales, and we have a mission just over the river and everything. So, but then we work with Victorian legislation, guidelines, all that sort of thing. So,
But do you think that the evidence-based programs, like for example, like functional family therapy that in New
Yeah.
South Wales is funded by New South Wales women to address adolescent violence, do you think there should be a cultural component to it?
definitely. Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. So, and it wouldn't, there's so many people like Rocky around, for example, that could make that culturally appropriate. It's not that hard, if you know what I mean. Like it's, yeah. So, but it would be best actually if it was, if there was an Aboriginal person that actually did the cultural approach, and that's not hard either. To find people to work the program and to do it appropriately. So,
And I think part of the problem are the funders and the way the program is set up as well. I don't think that, I think the cultural work needs to happen prior to somebody getting it, especially if it's a non-Aboriginal organisation.
I'm really surprised that it doesn't have the cultural lens anyway, because Victoria does really, like a lot of our programs are really culturally appropriate, aren't they? Yeah. So I'm really, I haven't really looked at New South Wales, but yeah.
Sorry, there's a question over there.
Sorry.
Thank you. I think it's quite overwhelming when you see the complexity just in that one case study. But I'm also really interested from a trauma-informed perspective on the young person's ability to survive and be resilient through some incredible life experiences that many of us won't experience in a lifetime and has experienced before the age of 12 or 13 or something. How does that look in terms of the assessment process? And then I was hearing real opportunities for identifying strengths even through the processes of engaging with the young person in the creation, in the researching and finding things and co-creating things together. They're great ways of documenting evidence of change and evidence of strength. So I suppose it's just a comment and a question about where that sits in your program.
We basically, like the 12-year-old, like he's in care with Nan, and we got an L17 for Nan, against Nan, and so he was referred into the program. So basically he's gone out onto country straight away. So because he needs to have a rapport with the guys to be able to work with him. So, and it takes time, doesn't it?
It does.
So, yeah.
A lot of
So-
times, we don't take phones, no phone at all. So for a good 6.5 hours out in the bush, you know what I mean, just doing stuff with them, and yeah, so we don't, no phone at all, because it's just a distraction. Yeah, and you know, we're about 100 and close to 160 k's away from the nearest town. So yeah, but they do, you know what I mean. Like the young people, they just love it out in the bush, hunting. We like hunting traditional way. We show them how to do it. Like a good example, ducks can't walk backwards. You know that?
Here you go, learn something today.
If you put up a trap where he can't walk backwards, so, you know what I mean, because ducks can't walk backwards. And another example is digging a hole. It might take weeks and weeks, but you put a bit of feed on top of the hole, ducks fall down, ducks can't jump without using their wings.
You look very sad. Ducks, right?
Stuff
But
like
they're
that.
tricks that you're teaching.
Teaching the young people, yeah,
To survive.
survive, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that's where I got it from my dad. And what I've been taught from my dad, I teach with them. Even the older guys that's older than me, I teach them so they can teach their kids and so on. Yeah,
Because to heal too, like you just escape everybody, don't you? And so to go out into country, you need these skills to be able to survive, because you're not going to go to the supermarket and grab a bag, which you can't get anymore.
and we do,
You
you know, get into shorts. That's all we have, shorts and a axe, and that's it. And that's what they got to live with and all that.
So do you think with the young people in particular that you're taking out on country, they're learning some of the tradition and reconnecting with culture, that role modelling that you do as a man who's not using violence is crucial to what you're doing with these young people?
Definitely, yeah. And that's where I've talked about after the 7 weeks, they become role models then for other guys that comes through. And then we used to stand back and let them show the other guys what's where to do, how to do it. So it's, yeah.
And sometimes they'll go out onto country with the cultural healing program, which is people who are perpetrators of violence or people who use violence. So, and they're coming through the program, so they're now mentors, if that makes sense. So yeah, so they're mentoring the young guys, aren't they?
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah. And also, you know,
just one big happy family.
yeah. And about the last week, 7 week, they come together and the family and the carers come together. And as I said, you know, get initiated. Back in the day, we used to get cut. But now we do it differently. The stuff what they do, their drawings, their paintings, everything, that's with their initiation, where they got to stand up and tell their story in front of the, you know, like the workers they work with, elders in the community, magistrates, police. So that's the way of their initiation, is telling their story and where they want to be in life. So that's it.
And we work with police and like all the other services. We network as much as we possibly can. So, yeah, so for positive role models and positive influences in the adolescent's life, yeah.
We've got time probably for one more question, if anybody's got a question. No?
No.
I was just going to ask actually how many young people you've helped through that process.
I think we've got 14. Yeah, so.
Thank you.
We do have dropouts too.
Thank you.